I'm going to show you absolutely everything that you need to know to get started as a beginner in Farming Simulator 25. Let's start all the way back at the main menu. You may want to go into options here, and in a lot of games I don't really bother apart from maybe changing it from full screen, etc. But in here, you know what? There's actually quite a lot that we're going to be going into. First thing I've gone to is the graphics here. I've changed it to windowed. Now it says windowed, it is actually full screen windowed, which for me on PC, I have to have, I often find. And we could change our graphics, etc. in here. Controls are in a little like kind of Xbox controller window. We've got mouse sensitivity and then general settings on things there. So just have a look through those, make sure you're happy. To then start the game, we go to career, choose an empty slot, and enter. So we have 3 different map options: Riverbend Springs, Hutan Pantai, and Zielonka. Now, these are obviously different maps we could choose. I'm going to go with Riverbend Springs. You can then choose some presets: new farmer, farm manager, start from scratch. Now, all these presets do is change the below settings. Start money, we can add to 1 million. Start loan, we can add to 1 million if we want, which is a loan. Obviously, you're in debt, you need to pay back. Economic difficulty, if you're a beginner, I would go with easy. Start farm, yes, this literally gives you a starter farm. And guided tour intro, I would also say to put to yes, as that is going to give you a kind of guided tour. Well, I'll be giving you a guided tour of the guided tour, but without any waffle that the guided tour adds. So let's cut the waffle and get started on the guided tour. So I'm going to press enter. You choose your mods or DLC. I pre-ordered, so I've got the MacDom pack. Just press enter again to start, and then it's going to load through the game. I've got a pretty good PC, 2070 Super and i7, etc. And you can see this is loading in pretty fast, and it's going to load slower when you get into the game, as well as it's the first time you're loading the entire farm, etc. It does give you some tips at the bottom here, in case you need them. It is a very in-depth game. So I would read these and really, you really want to just like absorb as much information as you can for this game, but also take it slow because it is a farming game and it is meant to be relaxing after all. Once the loading screen is done, we then come into character creation where we could choose what we're going to look like. And then once you're happy, just go to confirm, which is escape on the options down here. You've always got your buttons at the bottom. Once you then do that, we're then going to actually be on our new farm in Farming Simulator 25. So, to actually move around, you can basically use WASD. It is going to be a bit laggy the first time you come in, as it's just loading in the map, so don't panic. Let's now talk through the options. Well, on the top right, you can see the weather with the little sun icon, what month it is, the time, and how much money we have. On the top left, you can see our keybinds. It usually always shows you the keybinds that you have available. And what I mean by that is it will change if you're in a tractor, it will change if you're on foot, because there are a lot of keybinds you will have to be pressing quite often. So it's good to remember. And they are, again, at the top left. We've got our hand tools with 1 and 2. I've got my flashlight here. I can turn that on with F. We can toggle the map view with 9. I can make this huge map like this. I can have no map. I can have a circular map. I can have a square map. This is on PC, but similar on Xbox or PlayStation, etc. And we can press C on our keyboard, and that is actually going to take us to third-person view, which is new for Farming Simulator 25. And you can run along. You can also use Shift to sprint as well, so you can actually sprint in Farming Sim 25. So that's good to know. One thing I do actually want to go through with you before we get any further is some of the game settings. So we're just going to go escape into the cog, game settings. Now, this is actually quite important in this game that you do go through these. You put your autosave interval, etc., economic difficulty, which you can change. You can put traffic on or off on the roads. And this is where it gets really important. Seasonal growth, okay? This turns on a growth calendar that adheres to the seasons and the withering of plants. Planting is only possible when the crop can reach maturity. In other words, if you can plant a crop, but it won't be able to reach maturity in time, you won't be able to plant it. And we'll go through more of the calendar and that shortly. So do we want seasonal growth or not? If you put no or paused, basically that will pause where you are on the seasonal calendar or turn it off completely so that you can actually plant your crops whenever you like all year round, which makes the game easier for you. You can say how many days are there in a month. You can see there at the top right that it's 8:02 a.m. Basically, if the month is 1 day long, once we get to the next day, it will then go into September and vice versa. So you can change that if you want longer months, meaning you can do more in each month. You can also put fixed visual months if you want snow or not. Snow falls on the ground and can be moved by vehicles. Do you want crop destruction? This will actually affect it if you drive over them or you destroy your crops. This is interesting for things like your harvesters. You know, if you don't put your harvesting instrument on the front of your tractor, you could accidentally, trample your crops. I would say for beginners, turn this off. Do you want to have periodic ploughing on? Again, this is off by default on the starter farm, whether or not you need to plough your fields periodically to keep the yield high. Field stones, if stones can appear in your fields when cultivating and ploughing, which we need to remove. Should you need to lime your field? Will there be weeds on your crop? Should there be disaster destruction? You can turn this off if you don't want hurricanes, etc. All of these, turning all of these off will make the game easier. Do you want automatic engine start? This basically means when you get into a tractor, will it automatically start the engine or will you have to manually press a keybind to do it? Do you want stop and go braking? This is trailer fill limit. So can you fill your trailers indefinitely? Again, for a beginner, I would assume you might want this off. Otherwise, you'll have to keep refilling them. It makes the game easier. Fuel usage. Do you want fuel usage low, high, or normal on how much fuel will be consumed by your machinery? We then have AI workers. Can your AI workers automatically refuel fuel he consumes, etc. That will increase the AI worker cost and things like this because we can actually now get AI workers. And these are basically the game settings that make the game harder or easier. If we go to this option here, we have the map. This can take you through the map, funnily enough. So we are starting off with this little icon here, because this little triangle in the middle, that's us. The red circle is telling us where we need to go. And then we can see all the different types. If we zoom out using our mouse, you can see there's loads of different coloured crops here. And can you see when I click canola, it's turning them on and off? We can actually highlight all of them, or we can press Z or click down here to select all. So if I deselect all and then click wheat, we're only then showing where we have wheat on the fields. And as you can see by field 4, we don't have to have the entire field, we can just have a bit of it and it will highlight it. So if you're not sure, where the hell are my potatoes? You can toggle this and go, there are my potatoes, just where I left them, and things like that. We can hover over to growth. So we have stubble tillage, cultivated and ploughed, and the seed bed. This is basically, is it ready for seeding, or does it need to be is it ploughed ready for seeding? Is it cultivated? Seed bed means you've seeded the fields. Growing, there's none on here that I can see that are growing yet, but can you see on the icon there's really light green to really dark green. Lightest green is it's only just been started to grow. Dark green, it's nearly ready to harvest. Ready to harvest, as you can see me toggling here, shows you crops that are ready to harvest. Harvested, like this purple one here, shows that it has recently been harvested. What you would then need to do is replow your fields. Withered or remove foliage means they have withered and died, or you need to remove foliage, which is more for trees and things, I believe. Again, there that you need to remove. So for the beginner guide, you really aren't going to have to worry about some of these. And that is all of the kind of options and like main map things that we're going to have to do. There's also soil composition. Has it got weeds? Has it been fertilized? Does it need lime? And same premise here. Hotspots shows you vehicles and things. If I zoom in, you can see where your vehicles and combines are, things like that, your tractors. Tip stations is where you're going to dump off all your harvested stuff to tip them, productions, loading stations, animals, contracts, etc. We're going to go through that later. Farmland, you can show my farm. So this highlighted green area is my farm. You will need to buy the rest of this land to actually use it. You can create jobs and active workers, and that's via AI workers, etc. And that is the entirety of the map. The next thing we're going to do is go and talk to Grandad over here and actually get started on our farm. So, as the game tells us, we need to go and meet our grandpa. So let's go and do that. So here he is, here's Grandad. One thing I want to mention is, can you see this little bed icon here? We can sleep to go to the next night. Well, sleep over the night. And for instance, if you have your calendar set to 1 day, then that would obviously mean it would go to the next month, and you can speed things up like that if you would wish. So we can go and press R, as you can see on the top left, to start the conversation with him. And he's like, your dad is the worst. He doesn't want to run the farm, so you're going to run the farm. So now we're going to go over to the barn. As you can see, we've got a big old barn here. And we're going to meet our Grandad on this side of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to start getting into our tractor. So you can see you've got our tractor here. You can walk up to it. And then and also on the shed, when I go into the shed, again, the options on the left, top left change. I can press R. Can you see up the top there to change on the lights? So I can walk up to the tractor. It shows who owns it. It shows its diesel and the damage on it, because they will actually need repairing at some point. So E to enter the vehicle. In we get. To steer it, it's your simple WASD or movement keys that you'd be used to on your console. And we have this machine on the back of the tractor. So we could just press W. Oh, and you can also zoom out with your mouse wheel, etc., by the way. So we're going to just maneuver it round to the farm here. Oh, this is so good. I'm so excited for this game. Oh, look at this. A lovely farm. That's going to be for cows over there and water buffalo, which are new. Okay. So I'm getting too excited. So we're going to drive over to here. And now we need to actually cultivate the field. So you can see here that we have got this like nasty... Well, basically, it's the old crops harvest, right? We need to get rid of all that old crops harvest and cultivate it so it's ready for next season's seeding. Oh, one thing I should have mentioned, on the right bottom hand side of the screen, you can see our kilometers per hour. The little bit at the bottom is the maximum speed we can go, which is 40 in this tractor. The 81.4 hours, I think, is that how much fuel we have left? I know it shows the fuel meter on the right, as well as the maintenance. I think that, I'm not sure what that little hourglass actually is, to be honest. You can also see the gears you're in. In the game settings, you can also change if you want to manually select the gears or not. It's automatically on automatic. You can actually buy wheels to go along with this, as you can in a lot of simulator games, hence why it's there. So, what are we going to do? Well, if I go down to here, can you see that if I press V, we can lower and raise our cultivator at the back? See? It's up top left again. All your keybinds are going to be up there. I can lower the cultivator down, so it's ready to cultivate into the land. Once it is lowered, I'm then going to drive it along the field like this. Oh my goodness! And if you mess up, just reverse. You have to get a bit used to the controls. There you go. Just go slower. I don't actually like the steering on this. It's a bit OTT. There we go. Okay. My goodness. There we go. As you can see, I'm cultivating the land behind me, so it's ready for seeding. And you can just turn at the end, come in again, just like this. And you're basically just going to do the whole field, okay? So we're going to cultivate this whole area so that we can actually seed it. This is also going to be the same with a lot of crops that you do. You're going to be seeding and cultivating them, especially like the beginner ones, which I would say are things like, wheat, oats, barley. Some newer crops like rice are going to be a bit different, etc. I'll have separate guides for all of those on my channel, so make sure to subscribe if this is helpful for you, as I will be covering the entirety of the game and absolutely everything you could possibly need to know in bite-sized content guides as well. One tip, if you do need to reverse, make sure that you raise up your cultivator. as it could get a bit stuck. You want to always make sure you're raising it and only lowering it again when you're actually using it. When you're turning, it's okay, but just in case you get a bit stuck on reversing, that may be why. So once we're all done, you press V again to lift it out. And we're now going to go and get the seeder, okay? So we can actually seed some new crops on the land that we have cultivated. So for the purpose of this video, I am just going to dump this here. So to take this item off the back of our tractor so we can put something else on, we press Q. So if I just press Q, oh, I need to lift it first, of course. And then we can just use that and we can detach the item that we have. So what we need to do is actually put on our seeder. And again, this goes on the back of our tractor. So what you actually want to do is reverse up and into the barn towards the seeder here. And then once you're close enough, you will see that it says attach on your options. So we press Q to attach. And we have now attached our seeder. Now, the seeder does actually need to be filled, by the way, with seeds. Can you see just in front or on the left of the tractor there's a seed bag? Let's pull up the seeder part of the tractor up towards the seed bag. And you're going to see an option on the top left again that says refill seeder. For me, it is R for Romeo. So I'm just going to press refill seeder. And if you look in there, can you see it's refilling all the seeds? And the lids will shut when it's done. So what we're now going to do is go and seed it. Now, if you're wondering, well, what seeds do we have in here? What I can actually do is press Y, or whatever it says on top left for you. Can you see on the... I'm saying a lot of different directions here. Top left is obviously the Y button to actually change the seed. But on the right-hand side, on the bottom, you can see it says wheat, 78%. If I press Y, can you see it's going through all of these different seeds? So... we've got wheat, barley, oat, canola, long grain rice, oilseed, radish, grass, etc. The seed bag is not individual. The seed bag actually contains all different seeds. It's probably the one thing that isn't immersive in the game, but honestly, I like it like this. You don't have to go and keep putting in and out different seeds. You can just choose whichever seeds you like. So let's drive over to the next field. We could technically go to the one we've already done because we've just made it. We've just prepared it, but he wants us to go to this one where it's already pre-done for us. So now that we're here, let's just make sure we're lining it up first. And I'm just going to reverse a bit. Oh my goodness. And then what we're going to do again is lower the seeder. So you can see I'm lowering it towards the ground. And then we want to press B to actually turn it on. You can also open the covers here with a keybind as well, should you wish to. Oh, and one thing, by the way, if you press C again, remember we went into third and first person, you can also go inside the tractor like this, just the same way, and do it this way if you'd like to. So we're going to turn on the seeder with B. Now remember, we don't have unlimited seeds, so we will actually run out at some point. So we can turn it on. It's now turned on. We've lowered it. And if we keep going, we're now going to actually... can you see it's seeding the... or the ground. And there we go. We are now actually seeding it. If you look really closely at the top left, under the top bit where it says control group, can you see the tractor is in grey and there's a white bit behind it? If I press B to turn on the seeder, can you see it's now gone green? That's how you can tell if it's on or off as well. Top left. See, off, on. Hopefully you can see that. And we're just going to go and seed this cultivated field. Again, if you're thinking, well, I don't know if it is actually done or not, just go onto the map again, and the field we're in, if we go to growth, we can see stubble tillage, which for this crop type is fine to grow on. So now what he's saying is that we can hire an AI worker. You don't have to do all the work alone. Let paid helpers do the work for you. We can actually hire a helper with the H button. So what I could do is just press activate AI worker with H. And now what you're going to see is, oh, he's gone AWOL. I think he's just turning around. But we've already got the seeder attached. We're already on the right field. And so I think what he's going to do is go to the middle of the field. And then he's going to just get going, basically. He's going to straighten it up, etc. What we can then do is press tab to magically go into our next vehicle. And this now is our harvester. So Let's drive out with our combine harvester. Where are we going? Ah, there you go. You can see the little red icon, right? So that's where we're going. I'm going to try not to drive over the fields. I can't remember if I've got... can't remember if I have destruction or not turned on for crops. And as you can see at the moment, we are trailing the actual harvesting part behind us. And that's going to be important in just a minute. So it's a big town. It is actually a really big town. If I put on the mini-map to large, can you see how small? We've come from fields 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to number 2. And look how big that is. It's crazy big. It's kind of amazing, really. So I'm just going to drive over this rubbish, because this isn't actual harvested stuff that we're worrying about. This is old harvest. There's the actual harvest. So the first we need to do is actually detach the harvester part behind us. So I'm going to press Q again to actually detach it. And now what I'm going to do is, can you see the blades are on the front of it? Well, I'm going to go behind it like this and attach it. And once you're lined up like this, you then see it can say attach will come up on the top left. So I can press Q again and attach it to the front. We do also need to do one more thing here. So we're going to press G on our keyboard. Again, very top left. Can you see it's toggling between the two? Toggle to the main harvester. And then we need to unfold it. So we press X to unfold the harvester, which is pretty cool. And then again, you're going to be lowering the header once we're in position, so you can lower it, etc. We also have advanced controls, so we can lower it, raise it like this as well. So then, probably wasn't the best idea to just go straight over that, but oh no, what a mess. But I have anyway. Who's going to stop me? Okay. Oh, and we can also press... oh no, don't ignore me, actually. So we can press B, again, just like before, to turn it on, and you can see it's starting to get going. And then we can just make sure you have unfolded the tank first. And then we can get harvesting. I'm going to actually go into first... Oh, my God. Look how fun this is. Oh, guys, I fall in love with first-person view. Oh, here we go. This is the life. Do you know what? I'm not a big simulator person. But I do all the newest games coming out on this channel. So do make sure you subscribe and check out the playlists, because I really do all of them. On launch day, I'm always there. And what you can see earlier, our seed bag was decreasing in the seeder. What you can see now is that the litres on the right-hand side are going up as we're harvesting the wheat, because we're doing the opposite. Oh, and by the way, I see all this rubbish coming out behind us. You can hay bale this up and sell it if you want, or you can turn it off in the settings. It's entirely up to you. And I am going to mess this up completely. I'm just going to reverse. Just like this. And get going again. And you're basically just going to do the whole field. So what we've already looked at now is cultivating the field, making it ready to actually be seeded on. So can you see you're leaving all this rubbish behind? Not the stuff behind us, but just the actual stems or whatever, or the grain on the ground. So that also, that's when we need to replow the field and recultivate it. Every now and then, I think it's every 3 cycles, you will need to lime it if you have that option turned on. And then we seed it, like we did earlier. And then it grows. And then we harvest it again, like we are here. And that is basically the cycle of actually doing it. If you do have the options for weeding and fertilizers turned on, you will need to periodically weed your crops in between them growing and being ready for harvest. And if you have fertilizer turned on, you will also need to fertilize your crops up to twice while they're growing as well. As a beginner, I would recommend turning both of those options off in the menu until you're a lot more situated with what you're doing. But you're basically looking to cultivate and lime and then sow and then weed and fertilize if you have the options on, and then harvest. And then you prepare the field for sowing, and then you sow, and the cycle continues. And that's basically what we do for the most basic crops, but there's still a lot more to learn here. Now we've harvested it all, we need to prepare it either for storage or to sell. B again to turn it off, V again to lift up. Oh, in fact, let's put it down because I've missed a bit, can you see? There we go. B to turn it off, V to lift it up. Oh my god, up, 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 up. What a mess. If you get confused, keybinds from the top left, and that is why we have them there for that example. We also now need to get our pipe out. So O to get out your pipe. And where's he put our truck? So what we're going to do, because it's easier, is bring the trailer to us, okay? So we can press tab again and automatically go into the trailer that he has set up for us. And can you see on our tractor we have the trailer behind us? So let's just drive out. You will need to connect these things, etc. on your own. But this tutorial, if you do the starter farm, is just helping you along with it, just to get you going. One thing I want to say, if you're thinking, God, that's a tiny little trailer, or even that the combine harvester was too thin, you can buy much bigger ones in the future, and this is just the start. And that is what makes this game so fun. So we can drive up our trailer and our pipe here. There we go. And can you see it's all coming out? There we go. So the grain is all coming out into our trailer. What we can do, so I mentioned previously just a minute ago that we can either put it into a silo or sell it. So we can sell it right now for whatever price it may be. Or we can wait until later when maybe it's a different time of year and the price for this crop, which is wheat, is a lot higher. At that point, you would then put it in a silo instead for storage so you can get a higher price. What we're now going to do is drive off into town. He, I believe, has put a red marker up for us. Yep, 1,000 meters away. If we press 9, we can see where we need to go. Can you see this little red circle on the map? Spinning. Well, not spinning. Glowing. Expanding. It's doing pulsating, I would say it is. We'll follow the road up to there because that is where we are going to go. Oh my god, they're driving a bit fast, aren't they? The animal. There is a train that comes over this train track, and we can offload stuff to the train later on in the game as well. I do wonder, what if a train's coming and I drive my tractor out? Do I just get bashed out the road? Wheat everywhere? Oh god, absolute, disaster. Won't be showing that in the beginner tutorial, let me tell you. And we just want to go... It's such a big map. I love this game. We're basically going to where we're going to drop off the grain. So I will meet you there. So here we are. We are pulling up into town. And actually what I want to show you on the map, because I didn't show you this before, is... Oh, saving content. Is it on here? Oh, here we go. Can you see here? It says like tip. Where are we? We're here, right? And you can see it says like tip stations, loading stations, and things like that. So you can basically see on the map, like like here, where can I get fuel? Well, here's the fueling station. Where can I tip stuff? Here's a store because it's got a basket. So that shows that it's a basket. So this is like where you can see where you can tip things off. There is something called productions. And productions is where we can actually make products into other products, a bit more advanced though. So if you're never not sure where to go for these things, just check out on the map pretty much. So we're going to drive in to the drop-off point, which is at the grain mill here. And we're going to drive it over this sort of, this drop. So if we drive over it, you can see the grating on the floor. What we're going to do here is we're going to go over it like that, and then we're going to tip the side back. So again, top left, tip side back, U, or I for overloading. So we're going to overload like this, and it's all just going to come out. Can you see? If I press I to stop overloading, and I say tip side back on U, can you see it's changing? We're saying which way are we tipping it? The back, the grain door, the left, the right. If you say grain door and I press I, what's actually going to happen is it's all going to come out the grain door like that. Whereas if I'd done it the other way, with you, hopefully it's making sense, and I just head back, it's just going to overload and throw out everything, as you can see there. Don't know if it really makes a difference doing it like that. Didn't seem to there, but just as an FYI. Now we're going to go back to the farm, because obviously we have sold all of our produce, and it's time to go back and kind of, make some more crops. Once you get back to the farm and talk to Grandad, he's like, that's all done, now go do whatever you want. Once you've done that guided tour, if we go to escape again, we can see a lot more menus have opened up. The first one is the crop calendar. If we go into here, you can see basically, let's say wheat. We can harvest it in July to August and plant it in September to October. Now, what we would do is September, October, we plant our wheat. We then have all of November, December, January, February, March, April, May, and June to weed and fertilize it, etc. And then we harvest it here. What you may also want to do is, plant some barley, plant some canola. And then ideally what you'd then be doing is harvesting in November your other crops that you've already planted. December, January, and February, there's nothing really happening here. If we scroll down, we can see there are some. There's spinach in November, there's February, there's cotton. And then what you do is you sort of end up planting a lot in the spring here and then harvesting month by month. So that's how it all kind of splits out. And again, if you go to options and game settings, seasonal growth off or no, then it just shows everything like this and you can do whatever you like. Might be a lot easier for a beginner. We also have the animal tab now, where you can see your pastures. I've got 3 cows, 50 months, the price, the health, reproduction. So for them to reproduce, I think they need to have reached breeding age. They need to be healthy. And I think they need to have food and a pen, I believe. A bit more advanced. I will have individual videos for each animal, as I will for each crop on this channel as well. And you can see everything about the pen here. We can actually go and see the pen. Oh, and there's bees over here, guys. I love bees. I'm like a bee addict, addicted to bees. In any game, I just love doing bees. You can put a small shed here. Oh, yes, building. I'm going to show you about building. Bees here, look. Oh, God, not without my bee suit on. There's your silos where you can store stuff. And you can build more of these, by the way. And then over here, we've got our I think it's a bee pen, our cow pen that we've already got here. We can go up to it, I believe, and then open animal dialogue. And what you can see in here is the cows. You can actually buy some cows. Look, when we go up to the pen, how many cows do you want? Holstein. Oh, they're so cute. Angus cows, Limousin, and water buffalo, which is a new animal to Farming Simulator 25, etc. And here we can see the troughs. Is that a trough? This is a trough. We need to add water and stuff in here, etc. If we go down to the next one, this is contracts. So what we can do with contracts is we can accept these. You can only accept 3 at a time. So Noah, and it shows you where he is. He wants us to... What does he want us to do? Cut down trees? I think, yeah, get rid of dead wood on his land. You can use your own equipment or you can lease it. Leasing it will reduce the amount you get for doing that contract. You can only have 3 active at a time. You can press space to accept the contract. You can see here you can borrow the items or not. Then we've got production. Again, a bit more complex. I'm not going to go into detail in this video. Like bread, flour, you can see here. You can make flour into bread, for example. Canola into canola oil, and some of these have like multi-step productions here that you can do, and it's really, really cool actually. Like a tailor shop needs fabric into clothes. To make fabric, it's going to be in somewhere from cotton, I would imagine. Yeah, in the spinnery, cotton into fabric. So you turn the cotton into fabric, and then you turn the fabric into cotton, etc., into clothes. And then we've got prices down here. This is what I mentioned about seasonal pricing of storing it in your silo. You can click on all the different items. Let's say, what did we have? Oats, right? No, it was wheat. Is this in alphabetical order? Yeah, so wheat, it shows you how many litres you've got stored, 0 litres. Shows you the price. When we sold our wheat, it was at the worst time. It's at 819 euros. In Jan, it would be 1,200 euros. We can buy and sell. You can see the buy and sell price, because sometimes you can buy items. Vehicles. These are all of the vehicles and parts we have. How lovely. Hand tools, we don't have any. Our finances and statistics as well. Now let's say we want to buy some new gear because all of ours is rubbish. So I'm here at the shop. And if you're thinking, wow, Javier, you move fast. Yeah, you're right, I do. What we can actually do here is go to the menu, go onto the map. Let's say I want to go home. So you've got the farmhouse here. I can click on it and press visit. And I'm here at the house. I can go back and simply go to the shop and visit it. This is a vehicle shop, I think. So if I go up R to access the shop, and you can see here there's different brands, and they're actually real brands, which is so cool. Tractors, small tractors, medium tractors, large tractors. If I click on small tractors, wait, how does this work? Double click it. Yeah, double click if you're on PC. So small tractors, I double click and go in, escape to go out. I don't know what the controls will be on Xbox, etc. I do apologize. And we can see we can get, these different small tractors. This would be, different tractors. I'm not a tractor expert, okay, guys? I'm a gaming expert. We've got the Vend 300 Vario for 130,000. If we click on it, you can see, I think, how many you own here. This is the horsepower variable, how many litres of fuel, the maximum speed, and how much it can tow. If we press escape, we can go to like large tractors. And you can see, really big, beefy tractors here. There's also trucks. So we've got, little trucks. I don't know which one we own. But what we can also see with the trucks, etc. Because if you're thinking, well, the tractor doesn't tell me what I can tow or what I can do with it. Remember, we're using attachments for our tractors. And that's what's going to really define what you're using it for. With trucks, if you click on the different trucks, like this truck doesn't really do anything. Whereas these trucks actually have the storage bit built in. And you can see all of the different things that this truck can actually tow. Whereas this one won't, because even though it's bigger, you'll need to buy an attachment for it. There's actually a Skoda you can even buy, and little buggies. Oh my god, this is so good. I wish they had a Range Rover, but, beggars can't be choosers. Miscellaneous. Loaders, so front loaders, etc. to loading things. Front loading tools, like you can see here. And if we click on these, like bale handlers, log forks. I don't even know what a telehandler is. But then you've got like the trailers that would go onto your trucks. And it shows you how much space they have and how many tons. Like on Farm Tech one here, like you can see I own one. So that's good. And obviously it shows you, the different things they can carry. This can only carry these. This can carry all this stuff and how many tons it has. That's all the different trailers we have. Soil cultivation. Different plows. So now if we go into the plows, you can see, the width, so 4.9 meters, whereas there's only 1.2 meters. You can see the different, plow widths. Obviously, a bigger width would mean you can plow a lot more. Cultivators. Same thing again on here. This one, you can see, like, what kind of things it can do. Whatever those icons are, I can't remember the exact one. Power harrows. I don't even know what these are at this point. Mulchers. Stone pickers, which are good for getting out stones from your fields. This, again, is in the options menu, whether you have stones on the field enabled or not, that you will have to remove. Then we've got, like, seeders. If I go on to seeders, this is where you can see what crops it can seed. I think this is rice, like water seeds, which is new to Farming Simulator 25. So you can see here, which ones you can use, for example. Yield improvement. So this is for things like spraying herbicides on your field. Again, if you have it on. Manure spreaders. So then this is for manure and fertilizer. And things like that. Consumables, because you can buy this actually at the vehicle store. Fertilizer, lime for liming the fields. Herbicides you can buy. corn headers, harvesters, the list goes on and on and on. Animal transport, food, excavators. I mean, you really can get everything. And even things like chainsaws, marking sprays, and there's like horse brushes, etc. in here too. You can also, if you go to packs, so if you're thinking, gosh, this is overwhelming, what you can do here is go to packs, right? And you can click grain. And this will show you the machines you need for grain. Okay? Seeds, look, you can buy seeds in here for your grain. Or if I click potatoes, it's going to show you, okay, I can buy my potatoes. I can buy a John Deere 6R series for growing my potatoes, etc. So if there's a specific thing you want, let's say you want grapes, you can just click on this and you can see which machines you can buy for grapes, for example. So you don't have to worry too much. You could just go by category. And we can also go by used vehicle sale, which has obviously sales on. And then we've got mods and DLCs like the MacDon pack that I've got here from pre-ordering. There's also in others an animal dealer, which sells animals, cows, chickens, horses, sheep and goats, etc. Oh my goodness. Wardrobe. Construction. You can buy sheds and things in here. Big sheds. Factories, selling points where you can actually sell your stuff like a farmer's market. Greenhouses, cultivation and generators and things like that. There's also animal products like cow pastures, things for different animals, fences and things like that, and also sculpting, painting for your land and trees like that. You can buy this all at the store. Then just simply go back onto your map and click home and go home. And that, everyone, is everything you need to know as a beginner in Farming Simulator 25. So we've looked at how to, fertilize, grow, sow fields, crops, etc. We have looked at how to buy new machinery and things like that. If it does seem overwhelming, because it is an overwhelming game, check out the playlist you now see on screen, as I'll be doing individual guides for how to grow each crop and things like that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you found this video useful, and I'll see you on the farm.